What up, fam? It's Chief X, the God Best reincarnated, with some more common sense, science, reality, and truth. You see the name above, Sabir Bey, on here lying to people again, miseducating the public on purpose, not an accident. This is on purpose. He's been doing this forever. I've called him on it. I've asked him and even wanted to pay him to come on his live stream, but he won't allow it because he don't want to be proved wrong in front of his followers. I just want you to see how Sabir Bey lies intentionally to people in America and in Spain. He's over here on a little vacation or whatever he's doing in Spain, and I want to show you a video clip of how he just blatantly lies to this French African brother while he's in Spain and tries to tell him that this guy was a Moor in Spain in the years of 700 to 1400. Remember, I said 700 to 1400.
You see what I'm saying? So once they got in by infiltration,
yes,
then that was the weakest.
Yes.
That was the weakest in Alhambra. Yes. A lot of people don't know that, but you ever see the Moorish chief? You got your phone?
Yes.
Look it up. I'm gonna show you the Moorish chief.
Yes.
It was inside the Alhambra. Just go Google the Moorish chief.
He's asking, has he seen the Moorish chief, which is a picture or a painting, a famous painting that's in the Philadelphia Museum. But Sabir Bey and all the Moors always lie and act like it's a Moor at that time. There's even books written by some wrong scholars with this picture on the book cover, just misleading people.
What's his name?
Just punch in Moorish chief.
The guy asked him what's his name. He said, he just said, just punch in Moorish chief. He can't tell him his name.
Moorish chief. M-O-O-R. M-O-O-R. Chief. Like separated chief. There you go, right there. Now click that. I want you to see the photo. Now go to the photos. You see that?
Don't go to the scholarship. Go to the picture, because niggas is picture prone. They see a picture and get all thrown off, but they never give you the art history of a picture. If someone is showing you a picture or a meme, ask them where is the source, where is the art history of it. Most pictures have an explanation of what they are.
He looks like you. That was done in the Alhambra back then.
He just said that was done in the Alhambra back then. He's referring to between the times of Moors, which were Arab and Berbers, not West Africans, not Sub-Saharan Africans. They were Arabs and Berbers. So he said this is him in the Alhambra back then. Neither one of those two statements are true.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Edouard Charlemagne.
Yeah. Charlemagne. Yeah. Inside that mosque, inside the Alhambra. Mm-hmm. Oh, right in there.
You heard him. Inside the Alhambra.
Most people don't even know about that. He has actually a fez on his head.
And told the man he got a fez on his head, which he doesn't. It's a turban. Sabir Bey is so disingenuous and fraudulent.
It's a famous painting in Philadelphia in the Art Museum. One of the most famous paintings in Philadelphia Art Museum.
Now, he knows it's in the Philadelphia Art Museum, but he won't give him the real story. He wants this man to walk away thinking that's how the Moors looked between 700 and 1400. Those are the people who conquered Spain. That's what he wants this man to believe. That's wicked behavior.
I will keep that.
Yeah, look it up. Yeah, I'm telling you, look it up, brother. What's your name again?
Basi.
Basi?
Yeah, Basi.
Sabir Bey. Yes, sir, no doubt.
Yep.
That's what you do. You teach and you build. You teach and you build. You see how that works? He's from France.
He said, you teach and you build. Yeah, he's trying to miseducate on purpose, like he always does. So let's go over here and see the real history of this picture. This picture today is titled the Moorish chief. It wasn't when it was painted. Guess when it was painted? Guess when it was? 1878. They call it the Moorish chief now in the Philadelphia Museum. 1878, that's damn near 1900. That is 400 whole years later from the Arabs and Berbers conquering Spain. 400 years later, meaning it's not in the Alhambra, and it wasn't a Moorish chief. The artist is Edward Clermont from Austria. He's an Austrian. It's an oil painting. The Moorish chief. This is the art history of it. Source. Looking down at us, a tall man in white robe standing in the doorway of an impressive palace. People have marveled at this painting's detail and speculated about its subject for over 100 years, but no one knows for sure who the man is because this is not a portrait. The artist used a costumed model. It's a model. A model in costume standing in a Moorish palace. It's not the Alhambra. The painting is filled with many realistic details. Look at the man's clothing. He is dressed in the kind of hooded cloak, sometimes called a burnous, and typically worn by Arabs and Moors. Arabs and Moors, it says. A Moor is any Muslim in Northwest Africa between that time period. Mainly Berbers and Arabs. On his head, a headdress, they call it a kafiyeh. It's not a fez like Sabir lied to him about. And Sabir knows that's not a fez. It's a headdress that almost completely covers a crimson cap underneath. Okay, it's just talking about the history, but let's go down and we'll see what it talks about. The background of this painting is based. Can y'all see that? The background of this painting is based on the Alhambra, a famous fortress overlooking the city Granada, Spain. The Alhambra was built during the 13th and 14th centuries by Moors, Arabs and Berbers. Now, Arabs did have African slaves, or sub-Saharan African and West African slaves, okay? They weren't the chief of anything. They were the servant by Moors. Muslims, okay, look, it just corroborates what I said, actually. The Alhambra was built during the 13th and 14th century by Moors. Muslims from northwestern Africa, who ruled large portions of Spain from 700 to 1400. Okay, just like I said, West Africans, sub-Saharan Africans never ruled or conquered Spain. That was what the Arabs did. That's Arab history, Arab and Berber history. Although Spain is part of the European continent, it is located just across the Straits of Gibraltar from North Africa. I always tell people you can swim from Morocco to Spain. The painting probably gets its current title, The Moorish Chief, from the Moorish architecture in the background. But when it was first exhibited in 1878, it was called The Guardian of Seraglio. Seraglio. Pronounce it Seraglio. I gotta roll the tongue, excuse me. Seraglio. That's the original name of the painting. The Guardian of Seraglio is the name for the special quarters. That's what the original name was, the Guardian of Seraglio. It is a name for the special quarters in a Muslim residence where the women of the household were sheltered from strangers, being protected by strangers. So the title identified the man as a guard of the women in the palace, a servant, a guard. He's not a chief. He's not running nothing. He's a servant. Arabs and Berbers enslaved West Africans and Sub-Saharan Africans, and they were servants, and they were Islamized. They weren't anybody special. So the title identified the man as a guard of the woman in the palace. He's working. But it's a painting in just his imagination, though. But this is what's his imagination. He painted a black man guarding women, doing his job as a servant. However, after being purchased by Philadelphia collector John G. Johnson in 1892, the painting listed as the Alhambra Guard was another name. When he bought it, the painting was listed as the Alhambra Guard. He's a servant. This title makes sense since the palace in the background resembles the Alhambra. It's not the Alhambra. He just painted what looked like the Alhambra with Moorish artwork. Finally, the painting came to Philadelphia Museum of Art. People began calling it Moorish Chief. People later just called it the Moorish Chief. So as do you find that these different style? Yeah, so they called it the Moorish Chief because it had Moorish artwork in the background. Not because of any kind of ethnicity reasons. It was just an imagination. That's what he used in his imagination, this painting. Okay? The artist, Edward Charlemont, made the figure and the setting look so true to life. Yeah. So that was it. And in the video, he also calls the Moorish chief Charlemont. But that's the name of Edward Claremont. Charlemont was born in 1848 in Vienna, the capital of Austria. His father was a professional artist who painted miniature portraits. It just goes on to tell you how he uses imagination from different books he read and things he's seen. And at that time, he was sure, because it's the fact, that any black in Spain more than likely was a servant or slave to the real Moors, who were Arabs and Berbers. Chief X, I'm out. Stop lying to people, Sabir Bey.